All right, everyone, welcome back. It is time here for the grand finale in the Esports Dubai Cup and SiGMA Dubai Cup, rather. And it is one I'm very much looking forward to. Both of these teams were easily the standouts. Obviously, Lavadia, they have HS in there, so you knew that was a team you were going to have to look towards as being scary. But OneTap have made all of their games look relatively easy. At least at moments, it looked like they had the ability to. Obviously, a couple of their best of ones ended up close. But that was after having amazing leads as well. They made their game over Infinite look easy in the best of one, and then in the rematch there in the best of three just earlier on as well. So I'm really excited to see how this one plays out. They are just shifting up their getting rid of the knife arm rather, I believe, just so they can go ahead and pick their sides. But it is, of course, worth quickly running down over the map veto since we don't have time before the game to actually discuss that stuff. So obviously, Mirage here being map number 1 is the pick of OneTap. That does make some sense. It was, I believe, very successful for them during the group stage where they were able to pick up the 16-3 over Infinite. Didn't get a rematch in the best of 3, but it should be an exciting between these two as they both had actually played it against Infinite in the groups and were able to pick up victories more so decisively in the case of OneTap, though. But yeah, Mirage, as I said, being the first map, Inferno then coming up as the choice of Lavadia, and if needed, Overpass the decider, which has looked pretty good for both of these teams from what I've seen. So if we do manage to get an overpass, that would be a very exciting one. It actually went down to the wire in the previous time when they played each other, rather, and then 16-13. 2-1 tap that was. Of course, they were flawless in the groups. Looks like an A stack is being called by OneTap. This is interesting. It's not looking to be an A play though by Lavadia. They just have one player selling this out a bit. I thought initially maybe it might have been that split through under, but no, they're going to send all 3 of those players straight in through apps, only with a single player to defend on B as well. And he's actually down deep on short. Okay, Sikta didn't spot him there. He mustn't have actually looked all the way in against the wall, so GeoHype is somehow able to come away with a kill. Unfortunately, though, no more to go his way before that bomb now is going to be planted. He did fall, and it's going to be a 4-on-4 retake. There is a kit for Smek, but do they know this player still lurking in the ladder? They go ahead and check it anyway, and despite the Glock being up close right in his face, USP is going to come out on top. A second entry now on towards HS on the short pillar, and it's just crumbling for Lavadia. They're not able to hold any of them off on that after plant. A smooth retake from OneTap, plenty of OneTaps to be shown as well. With that, a strong start into the map for OneTap. It is their map choice, as we mentioned. They've shown some real strength on Mirage already here in the tournament. But Lavadia are also able to play it, so we'll have to see how it gets going now with an immediate force buy coming in. I'm also thankful it's now 11 AM. I don't have to be too careful about shouting and waking my neighbors up. It was 5 AM when we kicked things off earlier, so that's why I wasn't quite as loud. Moto at least getting info that it is a force buy they're dealing with. As you'd expect, though, considering the bomb was down. Solid buy across the board. Obviously, there's no AK, but 3 Galils, a decent amount of nades behind that, and a couple SMGs. It's a buy that definitely can work, and they've already ran all of the utility out of play for OneTap. They have nothing at all. 1 smoke and 1 flash is all they've got to work with. As they bring this back towards A, leaving, for now, just Caesar to see if he can hold them off on mid. Keep a few of them busy away from the bomb sites, in behind where those smokes are going to land. And, well, that's the case for everyone pretty much right now. The Rifles really need to get a few kills out of this one. Not having really any utility for a retake makes it that if it ends up in a 5-on-5, their chances are going to be quite diminished. So thankfully they are able to pick one off. Adrian just runs through the bench smoke, and a nice transfer onto that second player as well. Leaves it now again firmly in the hands of OneTap, and there you go. It's not going to be a single casualty even. A bomb plant is a decent find, but that retake setup works perfectly for the CT side for what they wanted in the long run, which was just to ensure they'd have a clean round themselves. And with the bomb going down, with no kills coming in, they'll surely just take 1 eco, maybe get a few pistols, do some damage. But the focus has got to be on just coming alive in that first gun round. expecting much in this round anyway. Only pistols and a couple of nades at least for them to use. Another bomb plant would be really nice though. And, well, it might work, actually. They're going to pile out ramp just as the player who was in on the A-bomb site there begins to fall away. The problem is they can't get any of the kills. Not able to deal with the man up the stairs. Neck also, as you can see on the site, would be a bit of an issue for them, although HS starts to pull out a little bit on his back pocket there. 2 kills up close on that Tech 9. Unfortunately, wasn't able to hold off long enough to take the fight against the triple player. Got spotted from the stairs. If he had tucked in a little bit more, maybe he gets that kill and perhaps has a chance at the bomb plant. But also, if he just tucks in tight against the wall of default, then he's going to be spotted by the player coming around triple before he really gets the vision. So it was kind of death either way. There wasn't much of a choice. Only OneTap winning round so far. Well, we are 3 rounds in, man. I don't know what you're expecting off the back of someone winning the pistol. Well, it is CS, so there's usually a good chance of those force buys working, but on paper anyway, a 3-0 is not really a crazy score to be seen. As we get a bit of a slower round from Levadia here. Not in too much of a rush to make this gun round happen. Want to pick away at the CT utility, which has already been used up quite a bit. Decent nade though on the HS right there brings him to 66. And at least as of yet, no real map control to be found for the T side. If they want to move in for that mid control as well, they're going to deal with a very aggressive CT stance, which I am liking the look of. Boost up on short as well. Player in towards connector with the op is able to spot top mid, and then they have a player obviously pushed up ready that is going to be able to avoid the flashes. The thing is though, it's not going to be a mid play that's coming in. They've shifted their focus fully back over towards A now. It's going to be an execute in this direction. Question is, where do they put the smokes? They've got to, so if they smoke off jungle and stairs, that is perfect, because there's no one back towards the CT spawn right now. They actually decide they want to take the fights, I believe. Instead, it's going to be deep mollies. Good start by HS getting the initial kill, but unfortunately, they won't be able to avoid the trade from connector. And as of yet, still yet to use that smoke. Only now putting it down in towards connector after already a couple players have pushed their way through. So they know they have ground covered. The problem is, the T's do still want to take the fight, but Adrian just cannot be taken out of stairs. It is his position, apparently. He's gotten 3 kills from there already and doesn't look to move. Let's see what he can do. Fourth one not going to come his way quite yet, and that's for the best, because they do need to try and play off the bomb. The problem is this flank just won't be... No? Okay, yeah, never mind. No point finishing that word. It was completely wrong. ZFX gets the flick around, barely spots Modo. With that, takes the shoulder, but a jump up is just too ambitious. It's actually going to be the ace in the end for Adrian, as a crazy round plays out. But it goes the way of OneTap for them to continue building their lead. And this is where it starts to get a little bit worrying now for Levadia. Going down 4-0. Actually haven't seen over the last 2 days how strong this map is for OneTap. And I believe it was their T side where they were finding a lot of that success as well. So the fact that they're kicking things off this well now on their CT is a very good sign. Obviously though, there was still a ton of damage to them. Their money hasn't built up very much. With the bomb going down on top of the loss bonus for Levadia being maxed out, they can just keep on getting those buys for now. So the pressure remains on. As mid-control this time does at least look to be a focus with the T side. Fortunately, they're not going to be, well, fortunately, I suppose they're not going to be catching too much aggression up mid itself, but they do end up getting caught out by that smoke in towards connector. But it works pretty well for a 1-for-1 trade in the end. And now they've got Moto in a very awkward position. I think the smoke might just give him enough room to escape, but that was looking pretty awkward. Only just about making it away with his life for now. But they've dealt out some good damage. HS is heavily tagged. Caesar's down to 49 as well. It's a decently comfortable position for OneTap as the pressure just continues to mount for Levadia. With that spot of the player in towards the ladder, that probably gives them a bit of an idea as to what's going on. It does seem like the goal is to end this on B. As the dropout apps happens, there's a player on bench and one in towards the van, and they just didn't expect Swifter's position. Easy pick off of 2, including the man who was coming up far back on short, and GeoHype has gone ahead and dropped the bomb, so that lurk of HF can't really do anything anymore. No one even tried to come around through jungle, which was unfortunate for him, so he didn't get a chance to actually do anything. As an impressive lead continues to build for OneTap. This time they survive with 3 as well, so they actually will build a small bit of money from it. At least on the player to manage to survive. Although I think Smek dropped the weapon over, so it's actually Adrian who gets to keep some of his money instead. Straight into the A execute though. Can be tough to make work if the CTs have any sort of utility, and they do. But, well, the mollies aren't going to be placed in time, so the kills just need to come in. And honestly, that goes relatively well considering the positions. Pushing through bench can be pretty risky, especially since he was standing in a molly, so coming away with 2 kills there was a good find, but see now whether anything else can be put in from Levadia. Rifles recovered, or at least our rifle recovered, but it didn't last too long. Odo takes him out, GeoHype gets the final kill, and it is 6-0 for OneTap here on their map choice. Fantastic start, you've got to say, to the grand finals for them. As I sit here casting the grand finals, I do wonder what the stage looks like. So I might go Google that or something. I don't have any feed of the players at the LAN or anything. So it's only really came to my mind right now. I wonder what the stage they're on is like. I can't find anything quick to look at anyway. I'll imagine it's very beautiful either way. So I'm not really experienced with this game. Do Levadia lose because they still can't buy insane? Well, they've been able to get actually a decent amount of buys because they started with the elevated loss bonus. They've been getting consistent bomb plants despite not winning any rounds. So I think we've only seen really 1 full eco from them since they did also force buy in the second round. Yeah. So honestly, they've been getting decent buys. That hasn't been the biggest of issues, but yeah, it's not ideal if you can't get a full investment going. This is the first off I think they've even got on ZFX. So their buys haven't been optimal for sure. But yeah, looking like, again, they're setting up for what is going to be the split, this time late on towards A. Deep smoke through. That's an interesting one, just to keep the CTs from reclaiming any info, I suppose, for now. And no, it's a trap. It was a trap. It didn't work, sadly, but he does some pretty decent damage and then gets counter spammed as the short aggression comes in as well. That's the bomb now dropped. Okay, this very quickly began to unravel for Levadia. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but we'll keep it going for now. Recovering this bomb is going to be damn near impossible. They have a molly, which could maybe help out towards jungle, looking like it was going to be punished, but no. Caesar manages to catch the kill onto GeoHype, and suddenly the 2-on-2 starts to look a little bit more doable. As I said, there's still a molly there as well that, if put in towards maybe under window from window itself, could have been useful to flush a player out, but they didn't put it down, unfortunately. See at the moment. 15-4. Adrian's been pretty solid for them, but I don't think he's had a game like this where a game where he stood out like this, rather, as of yet. Yeah, looking, I think he's at 1 rating before this game, so he's really feeling it right now. To be fair, having a look here, it seems like he has just plenty of average. He has a decent amount of average games, and then has those games where he really steps up. But he's not really the player that you require to be at the top of the scoreboard. So if he's having a game like this at 15-4, that's just absolutely fantastic for them. Seems like Smek is the only one that has a kind of consistently high rate, and everyone else just interchangeably frags from game to game, and that isn't going to be ideal for their stats on HLTV, but it makes a damn well functioning team like we're seeing right now. As things are again just kind of slow. It's an initial default, a little bit of focus there, a little bit of noise made around ramp. Not sure if they were trying to show the up over towards Palace there maybe initially, but they got smoked off. Smoke towards window now as they look to get a bit of mid control, and considering they're sending the bomb back towards apps, it's very likely going to be a B split. They already actually have a player in window who's heard that rotation and Well, if he manages to catch the time in here, Moto has no idea it's even a possibility. The spam, though, up short does decent damage eventually to finish then as well for Swifter. Geohype is not going to have the same success, though, up in the apartment. His teammates are still holding on. But eventually, as I said, that flank would be a bit of an issue. It doesn't seal the deal on the round, though, by any means. It's still going to be HS left in the clutch, 1 versus 2. Unaware of where that second player is at also, as he now spots him, so the info has been obtained, but still, it's a little bit awkward. He needs to try and force that 1v1 before the rotation comes in from Kitchen, and, well, he can't even win it, unfortunately. SiGMA manages to come out on top. It's going to be 8-0. We're getting plenty of close rounds where it comes down to 2 or 3 surviving, a couple of rounds with 1, but unfortunately for Levadia, they just can't get across the finish line on one of these rounds. And sometimes it's the most difficult thing to do, to just crack through that first round. I mean, even just look at the economy for OneTap. It's not there, considering they're up 8-0. They just about have enough for a single buy in the reserve. Shows you how close some of these rounds have been. E-Rush. Haven't really seen this tried in a while. Nades don't actually do all that much damage, but, well, they don't actually check up close on short either, unfortunately, as they come out, despite the flashes actually working and blinding up Swifter. It's given pretty much free reign, and with that, it's only HS again left standing, this time in a 1-on-4. There you go, around the edge of the smoke, just as it fades. Pretty straightforward. 9-0. This is not at all what I was expecting of this game. It is OneTap's map choice, as we mentioned before, but still I wasn't expecting it to be quite this one-sided. Inferno up next then is also, I believe, a decent enough map for OneTap. I think we've already seen them play it, if I recall correctly. In the Infinite game, was it? Let me look. Yeah, they took out Infinite 16-8 on it. Had one Mirage 16-6, so it seems like it's another one of those maps that they do like to play. So it's not promising. Things do not bode well right now at all for Levadia. Good damage though. Adrian, who's been a nuisance to them so far, is taken low early on and then taken out by the nade as the operator gets baited slightly and dinked up, but he still lands the shot on HS. That's going to be a little bit of a frustrating one. Damage at least dealt, but now in the 4-on-4, it's really one that could still go either way. Swifter with a strong position in jungle. They're going to swing, but none of them are looking at him initially. It's 2 kills for Swifter with minimal effort. Leaving it now in the 3-on-2. SiGMA's in on the ramp, aggressive, ready to go ahead and either work for the retake or push, kill anyone who pushes towards him, rather. Leaving it all on ZFX, and the moment it's pinned in, unfortunately. What a shot, though, on towards SiGMA. If he had got that shot on Geohype then as well, Moto was left incredibly low on 11 health, only coming in from the CT spawn at that point. That would have been a very winnable 1v1. Unfortunately, it's not to be. We have double digits already for OneTap, and, well, I'm happy SiGMA at least is making his team live up to the name. I think that's the first actual OneTap we've seen so far. It was ZFX rather, sorry. What am I thinking of? Again, it's been a long morning. First game kicked off at 5 AM, that was for me. It was SiGMA who got OneTapped. Good damage by Caesar there. Unfortunately, couldn't get the finish, and Adrian's actually going to catch Sikta jumping out of Palace as well. The advantage goes towards OneTap once again, and with the nades down, it's going to delay that push quite a bit. HS is hoping his lurk can find a little bit, and unfortunately there, I think if he had a step up on the ledge, he probably would have seen the head again. Will now try and challenge Connector instead, and with that walks into the crosshair of the op. Straightforward shot for Moto that he's not going to miss. He's had a bit of a quiet game just because he's not seeing a lot of people. He's 8-2 right now. Not the most kills, but very few deaths. Oh, just about made it around the corner there in towards short. Or in towards jungle, rather, as the T's were making their way up short. Should be a pretty much now only Vista standing. If they're with the final 2. 11-0. It's a hard game to hype up, I won't lie. And that's not only because I pulled an all-nighter to cast it. don't even know what Levadia should try at this point. They're just going to try straight up A-Rush. When in doubt, I suppose. Smokes are deep everywhere except for the CT spawn. Is that the smoke they were intending to use? I guess it was. Wrap around in through triple. Allow for the double peek. They do actually catch Smek with it, of course, but Swifter was at least able to get the one trade. But this is looking to be the best opportunity for her round as of yet. 4 on 2. Easily the best position they've been in. Moto and GeoHype may as well give it a go, I suppose, at this point, considering they have the money to work with, at least on most of the players. They could get another kill, a couple kills, rather. It could have at least impacted the buy in the following round for Levadia, but they do manage to keep 3 standing. They'll be happy with how they pick up their opening round, but they have a long road ahead of them if they want to make any sort of a dent in this comeback. Question is now, is that a round that they can replicate, because it was just a straight up A-rush. Need to consistently put these rounds together. Well, that should be a free kill anyway. ZFX. What? Okay, I'm sorry, but someone needs to clip that because that was just stupid as hell. Oh, he just got 360'd on Landman. 2 incredible opening picks for the off of ZFX, and a decent position again with the 3 on 2. Odo landed a nasty shot to at least give them a fighting chance, but he gets wallbanged to bits, leaving it all to GeoHype now. Yeah, that 360 up short from ZFX just caught me too off guard. I wasn't ready for it. GeoHype, I mean, it looks like he wants to go for it. Kind of surprised. They don't really have too much money now. He may be just better off keeping that M4 so that they can have a weapon in this next round and try and prioritize a buy in the final round. Excuse me, final round. My voice completely gave up on me there. He's actually going to just try and get a couple exits, I guess, from Palace. Might find the backs of some players messing around in jungle as well. Yeah, spots them making their way in now. He wants the ninja. Okay, is this going to happen? Does he have time? I think it's already too low, unfortunately, according to the thing up in the corner. But yeah, gave it a go. I admire the drive, but unfortunately, it did lose him his M4. That was a bit of a rough one in the end, but Levadia have got their 2 rounds in a row. That's what's important. Smack closes to 5-7. A dangerous weapon from under Palace. It's actually a wallbang from the USP in the end that gets the kill on Vista. Sick, they're going to be able to come through with one as well, so it looks like they're handling these USPs pretty well anyway. Dangerous though, playing up close in the smokes against pistols. But Sikta instead just goes ahead and feeds the frags. 11-3, so we're getting a bit at least on the board now from Levadia. If they get this 4th round, if they get the pistol on the second half, there is nothing to say that they can't pull off a similar showing by just finding the pistol, getting the first gun round, and spiraling their opponent out of control, as exactly like happened to them. As the CTs are at least back on a pretty solid buy. They are lacking in nades, which isn't really going to be ideal, but they have an op for Moto, and honestly, the way they've been winning most of the rounds early on in this game, it has mostly been off the back of the individuals, so it may not hold them back too much. GeoHype has already gotten 2, as I say that, as well as they pile out B. The bomb's being dropped as well, so that's fully committed to the bomb site, and it doesn't seem like they're going to have any chance getting back in at this point. It is the heads just all toppling. Sikta actually lurking in jungle, though, is going to get a kill, but I mean, now that he's left alone, they know where he is. They can just keep this bomb on lock in B, with no real need to throw away any more players and give Sikta a chance, because the last couple of days he has been one of the standout players here for Levadia, so if anyone could make this happen, I definitely would say he's one of the men. Unfortunately, it's not going to be right now. Moto hits that final shot. It's 12-3 at the halftime. Solid in terms of the recovery, considering it was 11-0 at one point, but still, there's no guarantee. If they lose the pistol, the game, the map is pretty much done. as the second pistol here, as I said, is going to be incredibly important. At the very least for Levadia to get a small bit going, even if they don't make the full comeback happen, try and get some sort of confidence built, a bit of momentum shifting back in the other direction, and more so, I guess, knock the confidence of OneTap, who were making it just look so easy before they move on towards Inferno, where we do expect Levadia to have a bit more success. It's their map choice. I'm imagining there's a reason for that. We haven't seen them play it here yet, I don't believe. They didn't play it versus Imported Talent, did they? No, they didn't. It didn't come out in that pool. Although I think it was banned pretty quickly by Imported Talent, so maybe that tells you something, that they are indeed strong on it. A bit of a slower approach to pistol from OneTap. Levadia, from what I can recall, just went balls to the wall in towards one of the bomb sites. I think it was A, just straight out. Feels like a long time ago now somehow, even though it was only a half ago, as well the CTs decide to counter the aggression up short. The flashes are perfect. ZFX and Caesar, rather, who get it all done. I forgot how to pronounce his name for a moment, and well, that took me off track as the action kept going on short. It's going to be trades back and forth, leading to a 2-on-1. I was going to say with the bomb at least being planted, though, there was some hope, but Adrian can't make his way over to kitchen as HS spots him on his way there. It's going to be a very important pistol round, as we said, going the way now of Levadia, and an opportunity, at the very least, to get up towards a slightly more respectable scoreline that they won't be feeling too demoralized after. Of course, though, get a round at a time, and it's definitely doable to get back into this. It's certainly not a 12-3 CT-sided map, but it can be relatively CT-sided, especially when you start to struggle. Sometimes it can feel like when a team gets locked out, rather, it can feel like it's almost impossible to break back in until you do finally get that round and start to, I guess, notice some of the weaknesses. Oh, already an opening kill from OneTap. That is not a great sign. Obviously, the bomb went down, so in terms of the firepower for the buys, they're pretty on par. So an early man advantage for the T side now allows them to calm things down. They've got mid control. They've even got a player in towards connector. It's all of the pressure pretty much right now on Levadia, and they've made the decision to actually gamble stack this. They'll put 2 over towards short, 2 on window, and they're going to peek in towards mid just as that split starts to come in as well. So it actually will be pretty useful in slowing down Geohype and Co moving up connector, but unfortunately they can't really do much in terms of getting kills. Bomb should be planted now pretty easily, and a retake ahead that's incredibly difficult here for Levadia. They'll try and get a kill over this smoke. If they don't get a very fast kill, then really saving the weapons has got to be the best option, and I think it'll be confirmed with that frag on towards HS. Although Vista gets an MP9 kill for himself. If you can get one more, maybe upgrade off of the SMG, that would be nice, but obviously the next fight he finds is against the Mach 10, and it's not good enough to challenge his MP9 apparently. Ooh, that would have been a bit of a fight there maybe. I don't know. I don't think Sikta would have peaked it with the MP9. Either way, 13-4. What looked like a hopeful moment for Levadia has very quickly been taken away from them. At least with the weapons saved, they're not completely left hopeless in this round, but obviously they don't have the money or the loss bonus to get any sort of weaponry dropped other than maybe a couple SMGs or pistols. Yeah, a UMP over to HS, a Deagle for ZFX. And one of the last buys that they're going to have, if they lose this, they're down 14-4. They'll be on an eco. It'll be 15 for OneTap, and sure, they'll maybe get one gun round then, but it'll have to be a flawless comeback if they want to make that overtime happen. Is the nade there? No, going a bit too deep. Put it in towards the van instead. I thought he was going to drop it on balcony. Oh, this under aggression is about to be spotted. It's quite late as well, so a bit unfortunate. I don't think Swifter had really been fully focused on under until just a couple of seconds before there as he started moving down himself, so slightly earlier push might have even worked out. Instead, it's the one-man advantage again towards OneTap. What we've seen in that previous round, and the response is very similar again from Levadia. This time, though, obviously the main focus is the push in from connector. They do just want to stack up towards mid, regain control, and hopefully some kills alongside it. But Moto showing that he can do it with the rifle as well. That is nasty. It's all heads, and well, it's all on HS now. He wants to try and keep his team in this round and in with a shot of making any sort of a comeback happen. I don't know if he wants to actually even go for it. He might just save the M4. They're on an eco otherwise in this next round. I don't know if they'll bother trying to force or anything, or if they will try and play for the overtime. I mean, honestly, I at that point, I don't really think there's a wrong decision. You're down 14-4. It really just depends on what the team wants to do. Do you believe you can make the force buy happen and work rather, and then have a little bit of freedom at least for the comeback, or you want to try and take the one eco, get a gun round, but then just not have room for a single error to be made? Seeing that number 15 up at the top as well can sometimes affect how you play a little bit. Obviously it depends on the player, but for me, sometimes when I see that the opponent's on 15, it might make me be a little bit more cautious, which isn't always necessarily what you need. Now we're just speculating on the mental game, but we're using that replays on the screen, so we can do that. Standard smokes in towards mid as always from OneTap. Looking like Levadi want to get aggressive, and actually it's true under again, not up mid at all. It's going to be both players though. Two of them deciding to push this time around. And I don't think really looking to step much further forward right now. I think they want to wait for that later aggression to come in, knowing that someone will likely come down under once they do start taking the full mid control. And that is the case. Swifter's now starting to move down. The swing is going to be shut down. Both of them fall. Great control from Swifter, and a very unfortunate round for Levadia once again, as they just can't find anything in the open in moments. Any sort of aggression they throw out just gets read perfectly. It's left Levadia with no choice really other than to gamble stack towards that A bomb site. And again, I always say this when a stack is called and it turns out to be wrong, which is about to be the case, as obviously B is being taken by OneTap. Still, it makes sense, because if they didn't call for the stack, the B player likely would have just died. Then they would have been saving with 2 out of 3 of the players, when they can have the opportunity to save with 3, or else potentially have all 3 players on the site as the attack comes in. So I'm fine with the risk. Unfortunately, it didn't pay off in this case, and now they are forced to just give this round up and again have a very similar buy in this next one to try and keep themselves in it. It is OneTap's map choice, but with the current scoreline, I don't think the map pick is what made it go like this. Rather, it's not much of an excuse. A 16-4, if it goes that way, is just OneTap playing much better in this case. Also, it's Mirage, so I'd expect Levadia to be able to play it, and we have seen them have some results already here. I mean, what else can you do right there? He got shut down in the previous round, so he's like, you know what, I'll bring back up this time. And then they both died. 15-4. This is not at all where I was expecting this game to go. I was looking at OneTap definitely with the ability of taking the win, considering they've just looked so good throughout the tournament so far, but I thought it would be very close between the two. That is not happening. Straight into the A execute right now for OneTap. Confidence behind their ability to just land the shot and make that execute happen, and well, somehow SiGMA gets that trade. Didn't even look like he was looking at him, gets the flick in despite being blinded. Smoke over towards Connector. Nice little lineup, despite the smoke being down. Sorry, I think it was actually Jungle. Either that or you missed it. Yeah, it was Jungle. Just restricting info really as much as possible for those CT players. Actually seeing a wild push out towards triple. The desperation showing as kind of is necessary, I suppose, at this point for Levadia. Have to give very much room with the lack of utility and with the lack of kits as well. If that bomb goes down, they will be in trouble. Although, as I say that, I realize ZFX has picked one up, but it doesn't really seem to matter. They feel their favor in the T's right now. Although with the bomb in the open, things could get dangerous. Now it ends up in a 2-on-2. Low health on towards SiGMA as well. Won't be able to escape, but GeoHype is actually going to land the shot there. Apologies, I thought it was SiGMA who was falling back from Tetris. He's actually the one wrapping around in towards middle, but they're both on low health. So ideally they need to play with each other here. And I like it to jump in towards window, so to be able to get a peek from jungle, a peek from ramp at the same time, which would be perfect, but he's actually going to go towards CT, which may also work, but we'll have to see exactly how this plays out now. The time is getting low, so they need to push quickly, and they don't know exactly where he's at. So actually ensuring that they're ready to trade each other is not an easy task by any means, but there it is. Smek jumps up on towards Ticket and spots him out. It's 16-4 again. I didn't expect that. We have a very quick first map over and done with here. It is